tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
Shots were fired either from the vehicle or by occupants of the vehicle, and then that vehicle drove away.
A Surrey woman is shot while sleeping inside her home. Police say they believe the shooting is related to extortion. Plus,
all what we're hoping to achieve one day to be treated equally, just like the rest of the people in the world.
After the signing of a deal to end the war in Gaza, British Columbians with loved ones in the region hope for long-lasting peace. And
we try to do our best, but now we're running out of everything right now at this point.
Some restaurants say they are struggling as a BC Public Service workers' strike effectively shuts down the provincial liquor distribution system.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Yasmin Ghaneya. Thanks for joining us. One woman is in hospital after she was shot as she slept inside a home in Surrey in what police are calling the first extortion-related shooting injury this year. Kier Junos takes us to the neighborhood where it happened.
Police say an early morning shooting in Surrey's Wally neighborhood that seriously injured a woman is connected to ongoing cases of extortion in the city. Police also believe that this is the first case of extortion-related gunfire that has resulted in an injury this year. Officers were called to this home in the 13,000 block of 103A Avenue just before 3 a.m. because of reports of gunfire. When they arrived, paramedics were already on scene, working to save the life of a woman who was suffering from a single gunshot wound. That woman was taken to the hospital in critical condition, but we've now learned that she's doing better. She's in serious condition, but stable. The front of the house here, just beside the main door, is riddled with bullet holes. There is an entry hole from a bullet in a window here on the first floor as well. And police say that these violent incidents are being dealt with by police agencies all across Canada.
It's unacceptable. The level of violence is certainly unacceptable to us and should be unacceptable to everybody. We're working around the clock, not only to prevent other incidents, but to work to identify the suspects behind these incidents.
As of last week, police say in Surrey there have been 56 cases of extortion reported. There have been 31 reports of gunfire related to extortion reported to date. Kier Junos, CBC News, Surrey.
A woman accused of stabbing 4 people and assaulting 3 others in Vancouver has been arrested. The incident allegedly happened around 7:30 in the morning Friday along the seawall in Yaletown. Police say the attacks appear to be random and unprovoked. The 35-year-old suspect was at large until around 4 p.m. Monday and is now in custody. The BC Public Service worker strike is entering its 7th week, and it's having a huge impact on the hospitality sector. As Jessica Chung explains, some restaurants say they're even experiencing aggression from customers over a shortage of alcohol.
Probably like 20% left and remain, and probably will be running out soon.
Usually packed with bottles of alcohol, now this small omakase sushi restaurant in North Vancouver is down to its last stock.
As for wine, and we only have 1 bottle left, like seriously. But we try to do our best, but now we're running out of everything right now at this point.
Ida says the strike has been devastating for her business, and things were made worse when a customer got aggressive with her staff.
I got a phone call and from my staff that she was in tears. She was crying, and so he was kind of getting really upset about us not carrying a wine.
The BC General Employees Union has been on strike for weeks, meaning thousands of public service workers have been off the job, and that includes those at the liquor distribution branch, which is responsible for the wholesale distribution and retail sale of alcoholic beverages. And that's left restaurants and those in the hospitality sector with a huge alcohol shortage.
There's hardly anything left anywhere. So I would say the situation is becoming a 911 call for the industry for sure.
The BC Restaurant and Food Services Association says most restaurants are mandated to purchase their alcohol from the LDB, and they're not able to go through a third-party distributor.
We have to buy from government warehouses, government liquor stores. We have no other option. So effectively, we haven't had any product flowing into the system for 4 to 5 weeks.
Tostenson says 15,000 restaurants, 600 beer and wine stores, and 200,000 hospitality workers in the province are being impacted. The BCGEU said last week that the union wants to see a reasonable offer from the province. The province says they're also focused on getting back to the bargaining table. Jessica Chung, CBC News, North Vancouver.
Wesla English is here for our first look at the weather forecast.
Good evening, Yasmin. A beautiful sunset behind me here in the Okanagan Valley. We did see a pretty pleasant Thanksgiving Monday across all of southern British Columbia. Did see some clouds in the northwestern parts of BC, but all areas will see some sunshine tomorrow. Let's take a look at the almanac. Daytime highs peaked at 13 degrees at YVR, pretty close to our seasonal of 14 degrees. This is the upper level airflow. We are going to see this ridge pushing in. As a result, as mentioned, we are going to see a beautiful Tuesday ahead for almost everywhere right across British Columbia. I'll have more details coming up. Yasmin.
Thanks, Wesla. The last 20 surviving Israeli hostages held captive by Hamas are now home, safe, and free for the first time in 2 years. Israel has also released about 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. Briar Stewart has more on that and on U.S. President Donald Trump's visit to the Israeli parliament.
It was an emotional day here in Israel. 20 hostages were returned and reunited with their families. Now, many of them looked frail and gaunt after spending 2 years in captivity, often deep underground in tunnels. They were all transferred to medical facilities. As part of this deal, the hostages who were killed, their bodies were supposed to be returned. There's 28 of them. Only 4 bodies were brought back today. And the group that represents hostage families called this a violation of the agreement. However, it was anticipated, though, because officials had said that Hamas might have had a hard time finding some of the bodies in the vast ruins of Gaza. Now, also part of the agreement was a deal to release 1,700 Palestinian detainees. These were people that were arrested and held since the war in Gaza began. They were released back into Khan Yunis. The crowds of thousands swarmed around the buses as they arrived, and armed men were in the crowd trying to maintain security. Now, another group of Palestinian prisoners, 250 of them, they were serving life sentences in Israel for serious crimes. They were released, and more than half of them will go into exile. U.S. President Donald Trump addressed Israel's Knesset today, speaking for more than an hour. There was only a break when he was briefly interrupted by a lawmaker who held up a sign demanding that Israel recognize Palestine. Now, the situation in Gaza was talked about very little during Trump's appearance. Instead, he talked about a new dawn for the Middle East, and he spent time praising the country's prime minister.
And I said, Bibi, you're going to be remembered for this far more than if you kept this thing going, kill. It would be it would not be the same. And I just want to congratulate you for having the courage to say, that's it, we've won.
Trump did spend some time meeting with hostage families, but certainly this very brief visit here really did feel like a victory lap, albeit a very early one. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Donald Trump traveled from Israel to Egypt on Monday to attend a gathering of regional and world leaders, including Prime Minister Mark Carney. Tom Perry has more on the summit from Sharm el-Sheikh.
Donald Trump touched down in Egypt today. He went to Sharm el-Sheikh for a peace summit that was co-chaired by himself and Egypt's president. Trump calls this an historic moment.
This is a tremendous day for the world. It's a tremendous day for the Middle East. And you can see that this is probably the greatest assemblage of countries in terms of wealth and power maybe ever assembled.
Trump met with world leaders, including Canada's Mark Carney. They shook his hand. They were congratulating him on this peace deal that was signed today by the United States, Qatar, Turkey, and Egypt. Those are the four partners that have brokered this ceasefire deal in Gaza. It's hoped that this will lead to a wider peace in the Middle East. Trump calls it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And I've heard for years this is the biggest deal. It'll never happen. For years, long before I ran for office, that this is the Middle East. It's the biggest, most complicated deal. And also it's the place that could lead to tremendous problems like World War III.
Now, while Trump is calling this a breakthrough, there are still a lot of details that need to be worked out. Trump's plan for Gaza involves 20 points. Some of those have been fulfilled. We've seen Israeli hostages released. We've seen some Palestinian prisoners return to Gaza, and we've seen some aid getting into Gaza for Palestinians living there, but a lot more needs to be done. This 20-point peace plan calls for the establishment of an international stability force to restore order to Gaza, and in the longer term, it calls for reconstruction. Gaza is essentially rubble right now. So the plan is to rebuild that, but all those details still need to be worked out. But what we saw today was leaders coming together, trying to make sure that this peace, this ceasefire in Gaza, that it remains in effect, and that eventually there can be a broader peace in the Middle East. Tom Perry, CBC News, Cairo.
Here in Canada, the release of the hostages and Palestinian prisoners is being met with joy, and the plan for peace with cautious optimism. Caroline Bargout with the hope from so many that the peace of this moment sticks.
I begin with a prayer of thanks.
On this Thanksgiving in Montreal, a community grateful for the release of the hostages and remembrance for those who never returned home. Raquel Luke's son Alex was killed on October 7th at the Nova Music Festival.
You know, all of the stars and the Nova angels aligned for this to happen. None of us slept. I can promise you that this whole community was up and we were awaiting their release like we're waiting for our own family members.
The anxious wait giving way to relief once the images emerged of hostages safe. This Toronto rabbi says it's a win for humanity.
When they came home, our brothers came home, our sons came home. It's indescribable. I'm watching every video of every kid return to their parents and their family, and each one I need a mop because I'm crying.
There are tears in Gaza too, as Palestinians come to terms with all that they have lived through.
You cannot imagine the feeling of the fear.
Nassar Najjar's sister Lena is a doctor in Gaza. Her home was destroyed, many family members killed, but she survived. The Najjars are thankful the bombing has stopped.
So it came with a very, very high price. It came a little bit too late. The recognitions came late. It could have done long time ago with way less blood, with way less violence. But to come late, better than never coming.
He and so many others hope this will be the start of lasting peace.
Hopeful but cautious. Some people are calling it a peace deal, and I feel like peace cannot come without justice, right?
Across the country, a recognition for all the work it took to get to this day. And there's still so much more to do on this long road to peace. Caroline Bargout, CBC News, Vancouver.
Residents living year-round at 2 RV campgrounds in Lake Country north of Kelowna could soon be forced out of their homes. As Brady Strachan reports, the district says changes have to be made because of growing safety and environmental concerns.
I'm not about to lose my home.
Steve Hayson says he and his neighbors are being unfairly pushed out of their homes. For 6 years, he's lived at Sage Valley Resort, an RV campground in Lake Country with sweeping lakeside views. Last week, the District of Lake Country told residents here and at a neighboring campground they have to leave, saying the sites are not zoned for long-term living.
They have to carry me out. I got nowhere to go. I have nowhere to go.
Some residents have RVs that can be driven away, but Hayson says many others live in older mobile homes that can't be relocated. Officials say the properties are zoned for short-term camping. Photos show how the two campgrounds have grown from 2006 and 2014 and most recently to 2024. Sites now house permanent structures, trailers and RVs dotting the hillside, some with wooden decks, outbuildings and roofs, all built without permits and considered a fire risk.
We didn't notice it expanding. We don't have any records that we can find dealing with any approvals to allow it to expand. So it's just gotten to the point now where it's like quadrupled in size as to what was originally concepted.
Inspectors found electrical hazards, fire risks, and sewer problems the district says threaten nearby Wood Lake. The district placed a legal notice on both campgrounds to show unresolved safety and bylaw violations. CBC News has reached out to both property owners, but they declined interviews. Now, the district says it must act, and residents will eventually have to move. A fire this spring brought issues to light.
In a difficult time when their housing is stretched, but we can't sit back and idly watch another fire go through there and come up with a worse outcome.
The district is helping residents find new places to live, but many here feel they are paying the price for a situation that was allowed to worsen over decades.
I really feel the district should never have let this happen. If this was a campground all the time, then it should have never happened from day one. How did it happen? It's the district's fault.
The district says it's ultimately up to the owners of the two properties to bring them back into compliance. Brady Strachan, CBC News, Lake Country.
Trails in the McGregor Mountain area near Prince George are closed after 2 hikers were attacked by a grizzly bear. BC Emergency Health Services says both hikers were transported to hospital, one patient in critical condition while the other was in stable condition. The Conservation Officer Service says specialists are investigating and trails in the area will be closed until further notice. A Canadian is among a group of researchers that has won this year's Nobel Prize in Economics. Peter Howitt studied at McGill University and got his master's degree from Western University in London, Ontario. Howitt and his team are credited with explaining a key economic concept known as creative destruction. It's a process in which new innovations, products, and processes replace old ones. Winners share $1.6 million and receive an 18-karat gold medal and a diploma. It's Thanksgiving Day, and many Vancouverites are reflecting on what they're grateful for. We'll hear from them next.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
On October 29th, join CBC's Lian Young at the 16th Annual Chinese Restaurant Awards, celebrating Chinese culinary brilliance across Canada and Asia. For tickets and more information, visit ChineseRestaurantAwards.com and never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC's e-newsletter today at cbc.ca/Vancouver Inbox.
The weather update is brought to you by BC Cancer Foundation. Give today to bring more progress and possibilities to patients and their families. Your donation changes everything.
Wesla English is back. You got a beautiful sunset behind you. What does the rest of the week look like?
Well, you'll want to keep your sunglasses handy, most of British Columbia. We have a fairly stable weather pattern coming up for tomorrow. I'll get into the details in just a second. First, let's take a look at the satellite and radar. So today, across British Columbia, the southern half full of sunshine. Even the northeastern parts of the province in the sun today. We did see some clouds, though, for the northwestern sections of BC. Here's a look at the precipitation forecast, and it is going to stay dry over the next 24 hours. We have an upper ridge pushing in. That means no rain or snow expected for basically 99% of British Columbia. Tonight, it will be a bit frosty for parts of the BC interior, dropping down to Williams Lake, -4, and also seeing sub-zero conditions in the Okanagan Valley as well. Pretty simple weather pattern. As mentioned, sunshine right across the BC northern parts, and same with the southern parts. You can see highs of 15 degrees in Hope under sunny skies. Here's a look at the 5-day forecast in the Okanagan Valley. We are going to see daytime highs staying near seasonal, sun tomorrow, but we will see the risk of morning fog, morning valley cloud later on in the week. In Metro Vancouver, again, keep those sunglasses handy, at least for the next few days. We will start to notice a bit of a change at the end of the work week, but until then, sunshine with temperatures near seasonal for Vancouver from now until the end of the work week.
Looks good. Thanks, Wesla.
You're welcome.
It's Thanksgiving Day, and the Surrey Urban Mission is hosting its annual dinner.
We have 5 sites in the Wally area. We have 4 shelters and 1 supportive housing facility. So altogether, roughly 220 people. So that's how many meals we are serving today.
On the menu, 10 turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and some vegetarian options. Attendees will also have the chance to look through clothing bins and take what they need for the colder months. Here in Vancouver, people are also marking the day with gratitude. Here's what some people had to share.
What does Thanksgiving mean for you?
It means being grateful and reflecting on, all the good things that are happening in life and just being with friends and family.
What are you thankful for this year?
Well, I have a new baby, so thankful for that. I think it's a big year also to be Canadian, so thankful to live in Canada and just thankful for so many things, in our lives.
Our family.
Yeah. Spending time with, family and friends and just enjoying the beautiful place that we live.
It's just like a time to be thankful and just be thankful for everyone around you and just like everything in general. Just a nice, good time of reflection and just it gives everyone happiness just to be surrounded by the people they love.
Well, I'm not sure what to say about Thanksgiving actually. It's working day for me like other days. It's normal day, nothing special for me.
But are you thankful for anything this year?
Well, yes, I have my family around me, I'm healthy and good friends and doing business. I could afford my bills.
Oh, I'm thankful for being here, I guess. Thankful for my friends and family and all the people who I love and who love me back.
I'm thankful for new opportunities. I'm thankful for a healthy family, a happy family. I'm thankful for the people around me that I love and who love me.
And I'm thankful for everyone watching tonight. Thank you so much for being with us on CBC Vancouver News. You can watch this newscast on our free CBC Gem app, as well as on YouTube and on our website, cbc.ca/BC. Have a great night and happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate.